you guys, welcome back to another one of my YouTube videos. I haven't posted a video in a long time. Partially the reason for that is because, just to make a long story short, I haven't had any ideas. I didn't know what to post about. I didn't know what to talk about. I didn't know what kind of ASMR videos I wanted to make for you guys, so I just been slacking. And for the little bit of subscribers that I do have, I am so sorry. I just haven't been on top of my stuff, and I haven't been on my A game. But on top of that, it's just been a lot going on. It's a lot going on, like, in the world, and as of late, it's been a lot going on in the community. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, and what are you guys' thoughts and opinions on it. And yeah, just basically talking about that whole situation. So for starters, just 2020 in general has been very, very chaotic, and it's been super, super hectic. And I don't know, like, I've never experienced anything like this before. 2020 has really, really done a lot to a lot of people, mentally and emotionally. And it's like, did we really even know, like, any of this was possible? And because none of us, I'm pretty sure, like, nobody in the world expected none of the stuff that's going on in 2020 right now. I'm pretty sure nobody expected any of this to happen. And it's just like 2020 has been doing some things to some people, In the beginning of the year, you had, I think it was forest fires or something like that in Australia. And, that by itself was just really, really sad, because of all of the animals and everything that was in the forest, and all of the trees burning down. And there was just a lot going on in Australia at the time. So, that was a disaster. And then you got everything that's going on with these unexpected deaths. You got Kobe Bryant and his daughter. That was a tragedy by itself, and the whole world, stopped for a minute. And, that was just really, really bad. And, like, I really can't even imagine what his wife is going through right now. Like, that right there is just super, super sad and just devastating by itself. And then with that, and then you have this random virus that came from practically halfway across the world. It's not even halfway, it is across the world. You have a random virus coming all the way to all of these different countries, hit the United States, and now the whole entire world is shut down. Like, the whole world is shut down. Nobody can go anywhere. All of these businesses are closing. Everybody has to wear masks. Everybody has to wear gloves everywhere. And it's just crazy because this virus, and not to mention that this virus has killed, hundreds and thousands of people. And that's just really, really, that's not even a good thing by itself, because I've seen that we have had viruses and different sicknesses going on around in the world. And a lot of people may think that, it's the presidential election that's about to come up, and now we have a random virus going around. I don't think it has anything to do with the election by itself. I really don't know what to think about coronavirus or where it came from. Or, like, the backstory of it. I just know that I am grateful that I do not have it. I am grateful that my children don't have it, and nobody in my family has contracted it except for one of my relatives, unfortunately, has passed away from it. And, just that by itself, I'm thankful that I don't have it. And I'm thankful that me and my unborn are healthy and my children are healthy as well. And I really, really hope that everybody out there, like everybody on YouTube, just everybody in the world in general, doesn't contract the coronavirus, and everybody is staying safe and staying healthy, and just most importantly staying indoors, because I know a lot of people are, just so anxious to get the world open back up so they can do things, so they can go places. And I'm one of those people, because I don't like to stay at home at all. Like, I like to go out, I like to do fun things, I like to, go to the beach, I like to go to the movies, all of that. Excuse me. I like to do a lot of things. I like to go out to eat and all of that. So I completely understand why everybody is so anxious to have the world open back up. But at the same time, we really, really have to be careful, because it's not completely gone. And, we just have to be mindful of that. And we also have to be very, very careful. And then the main topic of discussion that I wanted to mention that is going on in the community, and unfortunately has to be my community, is the situation with Mr. George Floyd. That whole situation, I wanted to talk about that because, for one, it's sad and it's ridiculous. And me personally, I agree to disagree as far as all of the riots that's going on. And the riots are going on, is spreading out in different parts of the country. And that incident happened in my community where I live. I live in Minnesota. So I'm not too far from the riots. And they're traveling all throughout Minnesota, and they're coming up to the city where I live currently. And that's what makes me afraid for myself and also for my children's safety, because of, this whole situation. Now, I agree how people feel about the whole situation by itself, because it's senseless, and it made absolutely no sense at all for that to happen. Now, I haven't seen the video. I have seen different posts and different articles and memes and everything about the video, and there have been times where I'm on social media and I just so happen to see, the video on my timeline, but I don't click on it, just for the simple fact I don't want to see it, because I can only imagine how the guy was feeling when that was happening to him. I can only imagine how he was feeling. I can only imagine, like, the fear that he must have felt when, he was being pinned down to the ground, basically, and he couldn't breathe. And it angers me. It angers me a lot, because, like, it kind of makes me mad to know that me personally feel like that officer is gonna get off. He's in jail right now, true enough, but I feel like he's gonna get off. I feel like they're just gonna give him a slap on the wrist, and if they do decide to lock him up, it's not going to be for a long period of time. Like, people like me and a lot of other people in the black community want him to do life or even the death penalty. I've heard some people say that they want him to, like, get the death penalty. Like, you took someone's life away from them. They won't get to do anything else. Their family is suffering. I don't know if he was married, I don't know if he had kids, but if he was married or if he did have kids, they're suffering now because his children have to grow up, if they're not grown already, without a father. And his, wife, girlfriend, if he was with anyone, they have to suffer because they have lost someone that they really truly care about. Like, he was somebody's son. Like, I'm sure he probably was an uncle. He was a probably was a brother. Like, he was a lot of things to a lot of people. And that's what makes me mad about a lot of other people. A lot of other African American men that have been killed by police officers for no reason at all. They don't think about anything when it comes to arresting someone. They just think about, okay, we see a black person. There must be something wrong with him. Like, they must be up to no good because just for the simple fact that he's black. And I feel like a lot of police officers do that, especially to African American men. Like, they just see an African American man and automatically assume that they're up to no good, or they judge them based on what? They could be just simply walking down the street, and if a police officer is bored and don't have anything else to do, or if that black man just so happens to be dressed a certain way. If they happen to be dressed a certain way, it's like, oh, that person must be up to no good. We're going to go harass him and see what he did. If not, we're going to accuse him. And if we think that he's resisting, we don't have no choice but to pull up and shoot him if possible. This one particular movie, The Hate U Give, I love that movie. If anybody hasn't seen it, you definitely should see it because it's exactly what's going on in this community today, especially in Minneapolis today. It's one part on there where she said to her uncle, there's one part on there when she said, if there was, I think she said, a white man wearing a suit and he was, walking down the street or something, or driving a Bentley, I think she said. Don't quote me on this though, because I haven't seen it in a minute, but I'm just ad-libbing. But she asked him, if you saw a man wearing a suit and he was driving a Bentley, he could be a drug dealer. You don't know. Would you tell him to put his hands up, or would you assume he had a gun on him or something like that? And her uncle, who was a cop, told her that she would tell him to put his hands up, or he would tell him to put his hands up. Now, this is a white man in a suit, drive a nice car, got nice clothes, nice jewelry on. But because he's white, you won't shoot first and ask questions later. You would ask questions first and then you would shoot. But if it was a black man with that exact same get up on, you would assume that he is a drug dealer, or he has, he's gang affiliated, or whatever the case. He don't even have to be wearing a suit. He could be wearing, just a t-shirt and some J's or something, and his pants, a lot of men sag nowadays. And that could be just how he dresses. You know what I'm saying? That could be just how he dresses. And he's never done nothing a day in his life. He don't have no record. He not a violent person. He never stole nothing. It's just, that's just how he dresses. So you're telling me a police officer would assume that man, that black man that wears his pants off his behind, but ain't never done nothing a day in his life, or you see a black man, a wealthy black man, you would assume that he's either gang affiliated, or he does drugs, he sells drugs, or whatever the case. You would assume that he's up to no good because of the color of his skin. And that's what makes me afraid as a mom, especially seeing as that I am going to have a son that has to grow up in this society. It makes me afraid as a mother to know the world we live in and the society we live in, and how, you know, the white privileged society we live in is just makes me and a lot of mothers out here who have sons or is going to have a son. It's hard. It's hard for African Americans in general, but it's harder for African American males in this society because of the fact that they have to experience things such as this. They have to experience this situation. They have to experience, all of the bull that comes with just being black by itself. And like, it's just nowadays where a man can't even walk down the street without getting harassed by law enforcement. The people that's supposed to be protecting our community, the people that's supposed to be protecting us, the people that made a vow, if I'm not mistaken, the people that made a vow and promised to protect and honor this community. What are you doing to it exactly? When you're killing innocent black people. And if my sources are correct, the man, George Floyd, wasn't even from Minnesota. He was just here like on business or something. I don't know if that is accurate, but that's just what I have seen, is that he was here on business. He's not even from here. He doesn't even live here. And, it's devastating. It's devastating to people. It's devastating to, I'm sure his family is devastated. And it's devastating to black people by itself, because we have been experiencing and going through racism for centuries. Like, we've been going through racism for a very, very long time. And there have been a lot of cases where black men are being gunned down, young and old, are being gunned down for useless reasons. Like, they're senselessly having their lives taken away from them basically just because of the color of their skin. And that's not fair. Like, that's really, really not fair. You're supposed to be setting an example for African Americans. And what good is it going to do when you're showing a very, very bad example? Now, you have some cops. I'm not saying every police officer in the world is a butthole. You have some cops, very, very few though, but you have some cops that are very nice and want to help and that are protesting as well. It is very, very few, but there are some out there that care just as much as we do. As far as the riots are going on, people are angry. Like, that's just basically what it is. People are angry. People are tired. People are angry. People want justice to be served. People want to see justice. Like, they don't want to see another officer. They don't want to see another Caucasian officer that just killed a black man for no reason at all. They don't want to see another officer just get off scot-free. Like, oh, well, it was a defense mechanism or whatever other BS they want to try to conjure up and make it seem like it wasn't entirely the officer's fault. Like, no. People don't want to see that anymore. If we talk, a lot of people feel like if we just talk, nothing is going to get done. Nobody is going to hear us if we just sit there and just talk, because we've been talking for years. We've been talking for a very, very long time, and it just went in one ear and out the other. Still doing the same thing over and over and over again. People are tired of talking. People are wanting to take action. People want to take action. So as far as like, there are those who feel like we should just have a peaceful protest. It was not peaceful when they tried to arrest that man. It wasn't peaceful when he was dying and nobody was doing anything about it. They was just standing there watching it happen. Like I said, I didn't see the video, but I have heard about it. I've seen pictures and I've seen articles about it, but I haven't seen the video. I don't want to see the video. This is just gonna make me even more upset. So, you know, it wasn't peaceful when he was sitting there dying. It wasn't peaceful for the other black boy. I can't pronounce his name, but it wasn't peaceful for the other black boy that got killed just for jogging. Just for taking a jog. All he was doing was literally jogging, minding his own business. And those people shot and killed him. It wasn't peaceful when Trayvon Martin got killed. It wasn't peaceful when Michael Brown got killed. It wasn't peaceful when Sandra Bland got killed. It wasn't peaceful when Oscar Grant got killed, and the list goes on. All of these people that have been senselessly killed, nobody wants to deal with that anymore, and nobody is just going to sit there and just watch it happen. Nobody wants to deal with it anymore. People are taking action. The one thing that I don't necessarily agree with is the looting part. The riots at the police stations and everything, I'm just going to say right now, I'm not even mad at nobody. But the looting part, that's going a little extreme if you ask me. Like, you breaking into stores, like you breaking into Target and stealing diapers and wipes and formula and, you know, food and all of that. Like, I don't understand the reason for that. Because what does that have to do with protesting? What does stealing have to do with protesting? I don't agree with the looting part. But everything else, people are standing out, people are standing up, and that's what we should do. That's what we should do as a community. That's what we should do as a community. We need to stand up, and we need to stand out, and we need to speak out, and we need to let these people know how we feel. A lot of people are taking matters into their own hands and showing them how they feel through violence and through, basically, like I said, tearing the city down. Because I just feel, this is my own personal opinion, I just feel like, you know, a lot of people in the community, the black community especially, really just had enough. They just had enough of the racism. That's just what it is. So, I just wanted to speak on that. If I was in a much better situation and I didn't have, you know, this going on, I most definitely would do whatever I can. I'm not going to do anything extra. I'm not going to riot. But I will speak and I will stand against my people. Because I know my ancestors have fought for freedom and fought for equality. Even though we are not equal in the world still, we have fought for equal opportunity and civil rights, all of that. So, I just wanted to come on here and express my opinion. I really didn't feel the need to whisper, so I just decided to just talk. And, like I said, I'm coming on here to express my opinion and just express my concern and how I felt about the situation and, you know, what's going on in Minnesota in general. And I do hear that it has, you know, spread out to other parts of the United States. But I'm really, really hoping that justice will be served for Mr. Floyd. And everybody will kind of, you know, just calm down. Everybody will calm down once justice is served for him. Because I'm sure that's what his family wants, and that's what a lot of people want. And that's what I want as well. For justice to be served. So, that's really all I have to say about everything. I really hope everybody is being cautious out here. I hope everybody is being safe and staying healthy. And if you like this video, can you please like it and subscribe? And if you could give me any more video ideas, I would really appreciate it, because I have been slacking. I have not been coming up with any type of content because I just have no idea what to post about, and I don't have a camera. I don't have a decent camera. I don't got equipment or anything like that. So, but all in due time, that will happen. So, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.